Hey everyone. So before beginning the review, as you can tell, but by the quality of this video, yeah, I'm not at home. I'm doing house sitting for basically family. So because of that, uh, but both today's review and tomorrow's review are just going to be in this weird grainy, like built-in camera quality, unfortunately. So bear with me on that. But getting into this episode, the review itself, this is one of those episodes that does make what happened with the last episode make a begrudging amount of sense, as the animation did bump back up quite a bit comparably to last week, mostly within the fight between Boyle and Taro, since the fight with Lou and Obiguro ends on a bit of a hilarious note, with Obiguro admitting she's a total masochist, which gave me complete whiplash when I first read that in the manga, and kind of even the same here, but in the anime it's even more hilarious how quickly she and Lou became unintentional best friends after that. Although the funniest thing was, despite knowing what happens, my reaction is still very much shared with Shin in this moment. Like, what the fuck happened? Like, I'm sorry, did we miss this? Did we miss a scene or something? Like, what the fuck happened here? Like, it's not that we did, but it's like it's just such a random turnaround that it's like, okay, sure, we're friends now. Like, yeah, you can't help but kind of just ask the question, what happened here? In saying that, though, yeah, let's talk about the conclusion to Boyle versus Taro fight, because this might sound strange, but the episode has a this episode has a weird case of reverse censorship with that particular fight, or maybe the whole episode too. I don't know. Where the episode kept the blood, and I appreciate it for that. But everything else in regards to what happened around the Boyle and Sakamoto fight was just kind of left out or something. Like when after Boyle and Sakamoto crashed into the Ferris wheel, it was after Boyle and Sakamoto crashed into the Ferris wheel. In the manga, like, it wasn't just that Boyle had blood running down his face, but his entire his clothes and his clothes were torn, and his entire body had scrapes and had scars and scrapes all over it. So it's but in the anime, like, again, they kept the blood, but they cut out everything else from it, and even even as something as simple as his clothes being ripped, they just didn't touch that kind of thing. So it's not like the blood that's the problem here. It's more so the smaller details from the manga that they didn't add. That's kind of that to really give it that extra punch to the aftermath of the impact. And the thing is, I guess I'm not even mad they didn't add those little flourishing details, and I'm just confused as to the why. Like, was it time? Did they not have enough time to add all that little stuff in? Were they told to cut that stuff out, even though they allowed the blood in? Like, I'm just confused as to why a lot of this was the case. I'm not angry at it. I'm just confused. Of course, we also got to talk about the other thing we got to talk about with the aftermath of this battle, though, is that the jig is basically up. And Aoi basically found out that what was going on, and that apparently Sakamoto has been targeted. There's a bounty on his head, and I said this back when I read in the manga, but I'll say it here too. I really like how Taro keeping that secret from Aoi was handled, because obviously she chewed him out like any wife would in this situation, but she was also, like, reprimanding Taro more for just keeping the secret to begin with. Like it's one of those things that it really shows really shows what their how close they are as a family, when Aoi doesn't even when Aoi's more angry at the fact that he kept a secret rather than the context of the secret itself. Like, for Aoi, she just wants Sakamoto to be honest. She wants Taro to kind of confide in her. She wants Taro in order to confide in her, and to tell her what's going on, even if the secret itself is life threatening, to the point where it could even and even put her own life at danger. Like it doesn't matter to her. She wants to be let in on everything that's going on with her husband, and I really think this with Aoi even throwing the Sakamoto family rules into the mix, telling him to take care of it. It not only shows how much like she does trust him, but it's a lot of this. I think in a lot of ways is kind of a lesson for Taro that while he has good intentions in keeping these secrets and from her, he does need to learn to confide in her more. So it shows that there's still learning to do when it comes to their marriage and their relationships and whatnot. And yeah, outside of that, we pretty effortlessly wrap up the amusement park arc and plunge right into the next big arc, as the episode wastes no time in the aftermath of showing Taro and Shin infiltrate Dondenkai HQ, where we're introduced to the other members. We're introduced to the order basically. The Order at long last, a group of assassins that work directly under the JAA, and these assassins are Shiba, Osaragi, and Hyo. And there's a couple of things I appreciate about this introduction upon reflection, which is that it is just how naturally it introduces these characters through conversation rather than having those big nameplate introductions that happen in most other anime and manga. Like it lets things play out natural. It lets the conversation and the introductions and just the repertoire between these characters. It lets it all play out naturally. So like there was never really a point during that conversation where it necessarily felt forced. You just let it kind of play out. Of course, I do need to talk about Shishiba's voice though, because Shishiba is being played by Hisoka himself, Keith Silverstein, which, yeah, that honestly just kind of figures. Like, if anyone would play Shishiba, it would be him, and I should have figured from jump Keith would get the role because I don't know what it is, but man, the man is too good at playing characters with a natural creep factor. No matter what kind of role he's given, he knows how to naturally turn up the heat to where it's like, okay, I need you to stay like 10 feet away from me, please. Like, no, Shishiba, unlike Hisoka, Shishiba's a little bit more where his creepiness is kind of an after effect of just his general mood and persona. I can't say he's not like a Hisoka character, but the voice still very much fits. And of course, through their introduction as well, and a later confirmation between Nagumo and the Sakamoto crew, we also get a pretty big plot point revealed that apparently there's a killer on the loose, known as Slur X, someone who's killing assassins, and all of who are registered with the JAA. So already we got a motive introduced, and just kind of the main antagonist introduced. It's someone who's got a grudge against the JA, and as Nagumo alludes towards how much you want to bet this same person X Slur has also had something to do with wanting to something to do with the bounty. He wanted to draw Taro out of retirement. And honestly, as a whole, one thing I do appreciate about this episode is how just naturally it just delivers so much information to us in such a natural way, and just kind of lays all these different pieces on the board without it feeling forced, or like we're being jam-packed with exposition. Like, everything is just delivered so smoothly, so naturally, and it's like everything is now basically laid on the board properly in order for the series to really get going now. Like, there's so much setup that now it's just about fleshing it all out. Also, the anime does a bit of flipping around of events with this part of the episode, as in the manga, the Order was introduced after seeing the Sakamoto crew infiltrate like Dondenkai HQ, but in the anime, it's the other way around, and which I think is not only more efficient, but it also fixes a weird transition from the manga I had, where immediately after getting introduced to the Order, we cut to basically Nagumo surrounded by by the pool of blood and dead bodies, which was a little confusing to me from a structural perspective, and just figuring out the passage of time between those two moments. But the anime rearranges to where there does feel more like a progression of time. Like but by having the introduction to the Order first, and then the infiltration happening after, it does feel more like a progression of time has happened with the anime. Now, and yeah, aside from that, with Nagumo, he also drops a bomb on us in regards to the Order, that they're basically the JA's task force, hired by the association, often just that work under the association itself to handle the top secret assignments, the ones they'd like to keep from getting out into the public ear or eye. So that in itself just means X slur is bad news, even for someone like Taro. But yeah, we basically get Taro's origins revealed, that he didn't just retire from being an assassin; he retired from being a member of the Order. He was one of the JA's like absolute like top assassins, and it's the thing that basically gave him his infamy as the world's greatest assassin, because he literally was. And it was recognized by the JA at the time that he became one of their top assassins. So yeah, there's definitely some connections being formed to the past that are beginning to form, and these events occurring are just no coincidence. We also get to hear Slur X's voice as well, and apparently X is being played by someone named Vinny Hacker, which admittedly I couldn't find any readily available information on the guy's like voice acting bio, so he must be relatively new to the scene, but he does bring a very calm, collected, sociopathy you'd expect out of a character like X, and it plays really well, honestly. Like the way X sounds with Vinny's performance is there's a natural creep factor to him, where it's like, yeah, this guy looks calm, he looks collected, but you also know that probably if he hits a switch of some kind, yeah, he's gonna go ballistic. Um, Also, I like how we do kind of address the grim reality from this in the aftermath of this episode, that the Sakamoto crew is facing, which is, like it or not, they're flying blind, unable to really predict just how much stronger the next slew of opponents will be. Like what kind of assassins are going to be sent out next. Like they're just maybe not strong enough in order to survive, unless they themselves get stronger. And I do like how, even though it's played a little more for comedy, I do like how we do see Taro committed to getting stronger, because he needs to get stronger in order to protect his family. Now, that's pretty much all I have for this review. But before signing off, I'm very much predicting the next episode is likely to skip a chapter, like it did with skipping over chapters 2 and 3 to get right introducing Lou, because this episode adapted is up to chapter 15, and chapter 16 does have a little bit of a filler vibe, so to speak. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're jumping over that chapter as well, and plunge right into chapter 17, which is more narratively relevant. But I'm kind of hoping they still find a way to work parts of chapter 16 into the anime somehow, because there is a moment that I think is still pretty important exploration for Taro's character and his relationship with Hannah, of all people. So fingers crossed they find a way to work that into the anime somehow. Because again, yep, the chapter itself, I understand as to why they cut it out, but I just hope they work in that one little flashback moment somehow. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. For me on Blue Sky, Analyst, Crunchyroll, be sure to notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight, signing off. Later, everyone.